Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Andres Diaz. Me and Will are back today for hopefully a actual what if discussion podcast on what if. Of course, last episode wasn't bad, of course, but anyway. Will, thank you for coming today. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Thanks for having me.
yeah, and I think I can safely say this was my favorite episode. I think it was uh, so much better than last episodes last week, which was horrible. And I think you and I did not like that episode. We didn't have kind words to it.
No.
So, overall thoughts. What you thought about episode 8? What if Ultron wins or
Yeah.
won?
Um, I don't know. I didn't like it as much as you did, I think. Um, I don't know. Like I liked exploring like what would happen if Ultron had won. Um, I think where it lost me was the Infinity Stones. Just like Thanos was too easy to kill, and then the way that I've understood the Infinity Stones working previously is that they only control the reality that they're from.
Yeah,
So when Ultron breaks out of his universe and he can still do all of the like Infinity Stone things, um,
yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. Unfortunately, I think for me is the MCU never really cleared up what were the rules of the Infinity Stones. So
Yeah, but
I
like
yeah.
they were in Guardians of the Galaxy. They said that they were created at the beginning of the universe,
Yes.
and they were like forces of reality, um, like for that universe. And then in Loki, when they're taken out of their timeline, they don't work anymore.
Oh yes. Okay.
So, but then now it doesn't matter, and anyone who gets all six in any universe can do anything throughout the multiverse. And I, it, a lot of these stories have had characters that have all six. So,
Oh yeah, that is true.
ah, it just breaks everything. And the more I'm thinking about it, the more I don't like it. Um,
Yeah.
because
Wait.
it just opens up like anyone who has the Infinity Stones can jump to different universes in the multiverse and can do whatever they want. And I don't want to see more Infinity Stone storylines.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I. I mean, it was gonna be tough because how much the Mind Stone was with Ultron and I mean, because the Infinity Stone was so important in Age of Ultron. So I
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't like that they changed that like bit of continuity. And I don't like the implications that it has for the future.
Yeah.
And I there were so many ways they could have gotten around that.
I mean, I
But
kind of wish Ultron had like a different weapon that we haven't seen in the MCU. Like,
just him being like an evil robot that can jump across multiverses is already like enough of a threat.
yeah,
It feels like overkill to give him the Infinity Gauntlet.
I don't know. Well, I guess I don't have a problem with that because it's kind of interesting to see Ultron controlling all six Infinity Stones and
I mean I liked that for like his when he took over his universe.
oh
I
yes,
like it, they lose me the second he goes into he like leaves the
his universe, right?
Yeah.
His dimension into like the
Yeah,
Watchers.
I think I would have been happier if he had gained awareness of the multiverse because of the Infinity Stones.
Mm,
But then they didn't work when he left. But he could still like leave
yeah.
and like cross over.
I guess I want to see. Well, so I guess we can, because this is kind of the on episode, right? This is episode 8, right? And then we're
Yeah,
entering in
one
this.
more.
Yeah, one more, right? I think the way they can actually fix this, and I think I understand your criticisms, because for me, if you were trying to attempt to do this like actual like connected tissue of the multiverse, and like you having this like Avengers type of formula for this show, they shouldn't have like established that, like actually made that as the plot through of this, and then like the Watcher like knows some of these things is kind of like, okay, what happened, and like something is going on. He doesn't realize that Ultron is behind all that, right? Like
Mm.
I feel like this whole series has been so all over the place. It's like you're trying to tell a standalone episode, which we want, right? We want that.
Mhm.
But then they need to do this connected tissue because that's the brand of the MCU. So they cannot, if they lose that, then no one wants to watch the show. So it's kind of pointless, right? And
Yeah.
then and then and third, it's like I I don't think you really need the MCU world as your like universe to do the multiverse. You can just make this standalone episodes, and I don't know, like I feel
Yeah.
like, so the 2 points I mentioned, the third point, and then like I mean the 2 points I mentioned, I think are like the things they struggle, and like we just should choose one or another. Like for me and you, I think we really wanted this show to be a standalone. But if you're trying to do this, like season arc, you need to set that up early for me to care about what's going on for this episode. Like you're having a problem with that, because to be honest with you, this was completely unearned, and I'm like I'm intrigued at that, but like at the same time, it's like you should have built this whole like you know multiverse, parallax, or consecutive event we're gonna have for next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we'll get to more of like the complaints in next episode. I feel like because after I want to see this next episode for Wednesday, I want to see like what were they trying to attempt and what wasn't successful. So I'm very curious to see that. But I guess understanding your criticism, Will, I cannot give you a straight answer because to be honest with you, I think for me, I'm kind of confused. Like I know this is not part of the MCU, but like
No,
I don't know.
I think it is now, which I
Okay.
hate. I hate that so much.
Okay.
But I think because of the ending of Loki, they're treating this as canon.
That's
I
true.
hate it.
Yeah. I guess
Um,
I will be convinced if they bring in Agent Carter in Doctor Strange, the Captain Carter in there. Then I will say, okay, you're right, Will. This is actually connected. But at this point,
I hope that Kevin Feige knows enough to not connect this to like live action things.
no, I don't know. I hope not. I mean,
But that's not the impression that I'm getting from the way they're promoting all this. Um, like I know people involved in it have talked about crossing over things with the live action.
and um, just I don't know if we're gonna do this next episode, but I'm gonna see Venom 2
Okay.
with my friends, right? And I got I really don't care about Venom, so I spoiled some stuff for me to see what they have.
Mhm.
And there's a post credit scene that will confirm what you're saying, Will, about the multiverse. So
Interesting. I don't care about spoilers for Venom, but
okay,
I don't know if you want to talk about that right now, but
yeah. I mean, it connects to what we're gonna have next for Spider-Man. So I think you kind of know. Yeah, so
okay.
you kind of know what's going to happen because we know what's going to happen in No Way Home, and
Mhm.
something has confirmed that. Now, the thing that I don't want to talk too much of it is like, uh, is he gonna pop up in that film, and then we're gonna set up a crossover for his third film? That's where it gets kind of iffy. But anyway, Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Anyway, okay, so I guess good thoughts on the episode, Will. For me, I think this was a much better episode than last episode. I mean, last week was horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my god. I think we when was it? I think I put Marvel Plus Talk, What If EP-7, and other Marvel Talk. So, which tells you it wasn't a what if centric episode. I mean, it was horrible. I think it was the lowest point of the show, and I think this episode got me back into the swing of things. Like I was actually engaged of this episode. It did everything right compared to last episode. And what made the best episodes for me for this series, like, okay, it gave me an interesting concept, which they did, which we'll discuss in depth if we like the way they executed it. But I think they did enough to execute it well for me to like the episode. They adapt a storyline that I think we like, the Age of Ultron comic book storyline, which they didn't adapt in the movie. So here it was kind of cool they did it, and I think they really went the extent to his illogical conclusion. But also, the thing that we like from the series was the putting characters, like, of course, in this case, we've seen Nat and Clint before. I was very happy we got more things with them because they don't have a lot of screen time in their time in these Avenger movies. So I was happy to get more of that. And of course, the action here was pretty good. I was so like when we get to like Ultron versus the Watcher, that was one of my favorite things about this episode.
Yeah, I thought it looked really cool, even if I was upset about the use of the Infinity Stones. Yeah, it did look cool.
Yeah, I love the part where the Watcher does the Dragon Ball Z like Saiyan and like boom.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was so cool. I never expected that. That was a cool way to get him into that. I guess Will, I want to kind of think. What was the thing that like you liked the most from this episode? I'm kind of curious what you liked most about this episode.
Man, I liked that Ultron was actually intimidating.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And I like anything with Clint and Natasha, I thought was really well done in this episode.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like Bale as the Natasha Romanoff. I think her performance here was really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is Jeremy Renner, right? He's voicing Clint, and he was great too. I like his character here. I like the work assistant from the movie, so that was very good. Speaking of the comic book adaptation, I like that. Did he have like a robotic arm in Logan?
Clint.
Man,
maybe
because when I saw him having a robotic arm, I was like, oh my god, this is from Logan. Well, in Old Man Logan, he was like blind, I think.
You mean I'm blind too? It's already.
Yeah, he was playing the comic book. Yeah. I'm checking it now. Okay.
It looks like I'm looking at the promotional art for the Wastelanders series that they've been doing, and it looks like he has both his arms.
Okay. Okay. In I think yes, like in Oma Lake, in Old Man Logan, he was like blind. That's like so I'm thinking where he I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know. For some reason the robotic arm for Hawkeye was kind of cool, and
Yeah.
it was like visually appealing. And then of course when Nat, it was kind of cool. She had like a short sleeves kind of costume, and I love the gag about her hair near hand with the pond,
Hmm.
which was very cool. Yeah, and my favorite part was seeing Sola again. Like, um, and I'm curious. I think this was the best what if. Like, if Sola had backup plans. I mean, I was kind of like they brought up this thing where he had backup plans in New Jersey, right? In Winter Soldier, and then he has one over in this Hydra base. I'm like, did the version of live action had other backup plans? Like it was kind of cool to see Sola here, and like he was
Hmm.
in Sabria. That was like a very cool concept. Um, and this just the idea of Sola being in like an Ultron drum. That
Mm.
was very cool, and I like
Yeah.
how he used the green. Um, of that. I guess uh yeah, that first opening really got me hooked with this episode. Before we, get into the Infinity Stones and stuff like that, like that first opening got me hooked back to the show after last week's Luckbuster episode. That made me be like, oh my god, this is very cool, and I love the way Clint tricked the drones with the stealth cloak he had. So that was very cool.
Hmm.
And most so, I guess the thing I liked the most about this episode that made me really enjoy this was the Watcher. I was so happy he had like more development,
Hmm.
and I will criticize that if you're gonna build, a character development for the Watcher, and I think so far the Watcher has been the most compelling and most consistent character that the show has done so far for me. That like I've been happy with, and so um,
Yeah, I've liked that he's like slowly getting more and more invested in the stories that he's watching.
yes,
I liked that moment where he was kind of like screaming at Clint to keep looking through the boxes.
yes,
But
yes.
um,
I got. Oh
I
yeah, that was great.
yeah,
And he said something. Uh, say it. Uh, my favorite part before Ultron. The other thing I like was when the Watcher was talking how when Ultron completely destroyed his dimension, and then slowly Ultron realized someone is talking. I like how that moment. Say it. What was it? The Watcher grabs in horror that Ultron sees that there's a universe beyond his own. That was a really cool moment for the Watcher for me. So
yeah,
yeah, uh, that was very cool, and and just how powerful the Watcher was. Like that was another thing I liked about this episode. It really showed him like how powerful he is, and just they did this such a good job with showing how just powerful he is as a cosmic being, and it was cool towards the end of the episode where we got Doctor Strange talking to the Watcher, and that's a combo I'm actually really excited to see in the episode. I hope they can have scenes together because those two characters I think are the most intriguing
mm,
um, in this show for me in terms of interacting
yeah,
in the show.
yeah. I agree. I mean, the only episode that I liked was
The Doctor Strange
the
one.
Doctor Strange one. So
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. But I guess what other places we need to what other things we have discussed that I'm forgetting? Like, um, well, we got Captain Marvel, who was trying to beat Ultron.
Yeah,
What do
I,
you thought about that?
it's just like um, it made me think about Endgame and how it really didn't make sense that at one point she was holding the gauntlet with all the gems, and
Yeah,
she decided to fly it across the battlefield and not like out into space where she could just use it to get rid of Thanos.
that's
Um,
true. Yeah,
I
I
don't know. Um,
um. Well, it's also the way Ultron uses the Infinity Stones, right?
he
Because
just uses he uses the reality one in a really like it was visually cool to see him like just create an army of Ultron drones.
oh yeah,
But
that was
then I feel like most of the time he's just using it to like shoot laser beams.
yeah, that's true. I I kind of wish they did more creative things with the Power Stones. I think that was the maybe kind of the problem, right? Like you just use the Power Stone, like from the stick sword thing he has holding, right?
Yeah,
You know, eh, like there's other things you can do with the Dream Stones. You could, I mean, you can, transport. Teleport. You have the
and
Power
like,
Stone. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
so why was he going planet to planet if he could do it all like with
Hmm.
a snap of his finger?
In there, yeah.
Ah,
I
okay.
No, well, I, I guess for me it's because like they're just sticking with the Whedon version of Ultron, where he thinks destroying it, like he's saying he wants to destroy it so that it can rebuild itself, right? So, fortunately, yeah, that's a good question. I the they're being consistent with Ultron's just like philosophy he has in Age of Ultron, the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It just
I
like I get that he wanted to kill everyone. I don't get why he wanted to like literally
destroy
blow
everything.
everyone up instead of
Yeah,
just like making everyone cease to exist once he had that
yeah,
power.
yeah.
But there's a lot of inconsistencies with
Yeah.
this one.
That's yeah, that's very true. I think yeah, there were just like
I think they
again,
just wanted to show him blowing up all the different planets from Guardians of the Galaxy,
that's true.
and didn't think if it made sense story wise.
Yeah, or like properly explain, like for like explain in like a quick line that because he have all the Infinity Stones and but also being in a new body, right? That like we don't know psychologically it changes Ultron's like philosophy a little bit. Like we should have a line where he thinks now that instead of destroying civilization and let it rebuild it, he thinks completely destroying it is the best option for peace in our time, right? Like that could have
Mhm.
been a conversation we need to explain why he's blowing up these planets. I feel like, but they don't do that. And so yeah, you're right, Will. That's very consistent. I I mean to be fair, I was I you mentioned how you were getting tired of the Phoenix Stones and Downs. I guess the thing that maybe don't think about it too much is just the way Ultron killed Thanos. Like he did it like he did like a woman of like slash him with his laser in his forehead, and like I was
Yeah.
shocked that he got killed like very like violent. Like
Hmm.
I was like shocked that they did that. I was like, wow, they took him out quickly, and I was just shocked. And yeah,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
I don't know. I feel like it cheapens Endgame just have so many episodes where it was just so easy to get rid of Thanos.
Yes,
I
I I know. Yeah, that's yeah, and yeah, yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Um, I I just like I don't know how Thanos is in the comics or like the Finley Gauntlet. I think we need to know how powerful he is. You know, Thanos and the Gauntlet. You know,
mhm,
I just feel like I'm like it's very vague on how powerful the stones are. You know, like I get it's powerful altogether and like you can do a lot of things with it, but I need to know how powerful it is for someone to completely hold it. And like you know still be surviving because we know it can hurt them, right?
mhm.
We see that with Guardians, and we see that a little bit in Infinity War and Endgame particularly. But I don't know. I guess that we should have like a what if episode of like instead of like what if Thanos didn't get the stones and it was someone else, and we could have seen maybe more detail about what the Infinity Stones are as these objects and like how powerful they are. Like
Hmm.
yeah. Um, yeah, and just speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, well, we're getting a second season. I wonder if we're gonna get Eagle next season. Um,
Maybe, yeah.
um, oh, hold on. Well,
Okay.
anyway, yeah, I don't know. Um, a lot of just. Do you feel, Will, that they kind of like throw so many things in the cook for this show? Like they just throw like, oh, we need what if zombies, and then oh, we want Doctor Strange to be evil here, and then we want Agent Carter to be the Captain America here. Like, do you feel like they put too much cook in the kitchen for this series?
Yeah, it does feel like they just kind of like threw a bunch of ideas out there,
Mm,
and then we're just like, yeah, that sounds good.
yeah,
Um, some of them are a lot more interesting than others, and then just a lot like the only one that's been executed like fairly
well,
well was the Doctor Strange one.
yeah,
And I feel like they did it without considering the implications of like how it would like recontextualize the original stories,
mm,
or like how it would exist in the broader context since Loki was gonna make the multiverse canon.
yeah. Mm. Yeah. And well, and the thing was, they like, um, in a way, if you didn't like the character, like, I guess the thing that I like about the episode, like, I know you have a different opinion, but like, I guess I appreciate we got more Christine Plummer and like we did more with her character. Like, I don't like the way they did it, but
Yeah.
I,
No,
I
I
like,
yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, like the Doctor Strange one was the only one that was like
yeah,
good.
yeah, it was good. Um, Yeah. Yeah. And then and of course with too much in the kitchen, like they try to do this series arc of like this whole combination of a multiverse war, like with Ultron, you know?
Mhm.
And like I don't know why they couldn't done that with Kane. Like I think they couldn't have done something with Kane in one episode, but I don't know. Yeah, really weird. Um and speaking of, you know, this show, we got a couple of references that was kind of cool. The big one was for me. I didn't realize this was Barton's middle name. That was from his son or his kid Francis, and so for one of these like what if storylines, Francis Barton, this character we do see in an animation movie called the next Avengers movie,
Mm.
Heroes Tomorrow, I think is called. So that was cool. That was a nice kind of hint of the middle name, and then uh, oh, and Ultron eating. This was another shot that I also loved. Was when he was beating up the Watcher, and then Ultron. Both of them are like doing the hopping dimensions, which was very cool. I don't
Mhm.
know, like them hopping into different dimensions and multiverse was probably one of the best action scenes ever in animation I've seen, and like it was they took it as far as possible, which was great. And the one scene when they hit this one planet, and then instead of seeing Ultron in a full normal body mode, we see it, huge like Galactus, and he eat literally the planet and it exploded. Like, oh my god, that was so cool. Just seeing Ultron eating that, and it was estimated. It was similar to how Galactus is going to do that.
Mhm.
Having eating planets. So that was cool reference. Harking back Galactus. It was cool to see President Steve Rogers. I don't know if you caught that one.
Yeah.
Um, that was kind of cool. And then what else? That was kind of cool. Oh, and I think I'm trying to find. Oh, Ray Guardian's shield. That was cool to see
Mhm.
Nat holding that. So that was very nice. What else was kind of concerning? What Ultron's cape was kind of cool. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and of course, the when the Avengers were taken down by Ultron when he got the Vision body,
Mhm.
it reminiscent the nightmare that Tony has. We saw the broken shield and Hawk down and Thor. So that was kind of cool to repeat that scene again, and seeing Tony die again was another cool way.
Yeah.
Oh, say you want to say something?
No, I'm just trying to think of how many times Tony's died this season. I think four.
4 times, I think. Yeah. Um, yeah, yeah, turns like that. Yeah, he died 4 times already. Yeah, um, in this show, which is crazy. So, but yeah, I think overall, I feel like this was a good episode. I think it was a step up from last week's one. Uh, but yeah, I think that's really it. I guess anything else you want to say, Will, before we kind of head out?
No, I think I'm all right. Um, I guess we'll see how it
Uh,
plays out next week.
yeah, I'm very curious. I guess we are gonna get like the multiverse Avengers, to defeat Ultron because they didn't, you know, I I don't think they did like they didn't pick up the last scene from last episode where we saw the
Yeah,
uh
that was another thing.
oh what oh
Just like they had that like ending to the last episode and then
yeah
pretended it didn't happen so they could tell the full Ultron story. That was weird,
yeah
but
um yeah I'm checking if there's like a post credit scene. No, I don't think they have a post credit scene because it's weird. I will say like I think that was gonna be like I think we need this episode to explain where this Ultron came from. Um, I kind of wish they did put like another post credit scene where he was fighting that other version of Thor, and like we should have set up something for the next episode, right? Because it feels like an Avengers crossover event, right? but
Yeah.
in multiverse. So I yeah yeah I'm very curious how they're gonna pay off the whole thing because um I, I feel like right now the show has been I think the most lackluster Marvel thing we've seen since Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know, I feel like um uh
Mm.
but uh,
I mean, this is my least favorite Marvel Studios thing ever.
yeah. Well,
Easily. I mean, this is the only one that I don't like.
well, I
Um,
no I agree. Yeah, they're way over the place, and I don't feel the vision that they have for this show. I feel like
yeah. If this like wasn't canon,
yeah
I would be more okay with it. I'd be like, ah, that's fun, but it doesn't matter. But the fact that it's like supposed to be canon now is like it's not living up to the like level of quality of the rest of everything.
no
Um,
no
and
yeah
yeah, it's
yeah I I just kind of wish they took more risk, and I for me it was also the pacing. Um,
mm,
I think these episodes need to be hour longs, like the other Disney Plus shows. I feel like because I don't think the 34 no 37 mark they have so far hasn't helped them at all with these last 8 episodes. You know,
yeah,
but I mean
I don't know. The
it's
thing is, like, you can tell a superhero story in 30 minutes, like, because like children's cartoons do it all the time. So I don't
yeah
understand why they're struggling. Like, if they knew that they were making a half-hour program, I
yeah
don't understand why they're like having such a hard time with the pacing of every
I
single episode.
don't know I just don't know I mean they don't have too many characters. That's another thing. Like they don't have too many characters, so like the pacing should be easier, right? But I don't know. Well, and I for me, I don't think they have the right team that does animation, right? Like you need to hire actual animation developers and showrunners that know this craft, so you can make an efficient show. You know,
Yeah.
because I think this team are like kind of new for this kind of type of medium, right? Like you know,
Mm.
because you've been complaining about so much of the writer, right? Like the writer, I don't think the writer has been used to this animation kind of writing, right? Um,
Um, I don't I don't know too much about her.
yeah. So and
This one was written by
something else, someone
Matthew
else.
Chauncey. Yeah. Who's the showrunner? Like I'm really worried about Miss Marvel because it's the same writer. Um, and this
Okay,
is just a mess.
yeah, she did Troll Hunters, so that's from
I've never seen that.
yeah,
But, or she's done an animated show before though, so
yeah,
like that
yeah,
one episode of Arrow.
the Birds of Prey one. Oh, that's like the worst one in season 2.
I don't remember. But,
Yeah, it's like the it was another appearance for Huntress, but like it's the last one because the actress that plays Huntress gets kind of busy, and so she never comes back from the show after that episode.
okay.
So I know that. Yeah. The other two shows, I mean, it's from the Maya Grimel del Toro. I mean, I I just I yeah, I mean the Three Below and Troll Hunters has really great reviews. So I don't know what's going on with the show, but it's weird. I think it's kind of hard for it. Um, it's also I think it's also the tone, right? You think there's like a tonal shift that's kind of a problem here as well?
Um, I guess. I mean, like, I think every episode should have its own like tone because it should have
Right.
its own like a standalone story. Um, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I don't know. I I guess like I'm very curious about next episode and like and discuss more about the series in general
mhm.
because right now I think the common complaints for us is pacing, lack of cohesion vision for this show, and just number three for me, not taking risks. Like they've been like they take one risk and that's it, and then they do
Mm.
it again, but that was like three like this episode was like the most risky episode we have since what Doctor Strange. I like
Yeah.
yeah, because I didn't like the zombies one because that one was cold for me, and
Mhm.
then this episode last episode was the worst for me. I really did not like the episode,
Yeah.
and then this episode it was like much better, but it's like I feel like those last two episodes were like filler, like I don't know.
Mm.
And just also not committing to like a a like and for me the fourth one if you are going to do something that's like a story arc or story plot line, you need to commit to that early on and set that up. You cannot
Mhm.
set up this multiverse war with Ultron like so late in the game. You know, I I don't care. The show is a multiverse show, and it's what else Elseworld storylines. You need to set up the story because it's a huge thing, and you have a character like the Watcher that's has this arc and this rule he has that he cannot interfere, right? And
Mhm.
the next episode he's going to interfere because he needs to stop Ultron. So you you need to completely set up all these things, and you
Yeah.
cannot do this
Like,
in last minute.
I think they've done a good job of like showing him get more and more invested in the stories and like wanting to interfere. But I think it would
Yeah,
land more if like that threat was growing throughout the series instead of it just being a character development thing, if they had had like the threat of someone breaking through the multiverse throughout
yeah,
the series.
yes, I agree. Like, because I feel like it just feels like it kind of feels like they're trying to do a network like TV series finale, and I don't think the show should be that.
It every episode
Like,
I think should be standalone.
yeah, I mean, like the show should be the Twilight Zone or like um or uh, a night gallery or what other usually shows like American Horror Show, like those kind of shows.
Yeah, in an
Where,
anthology.
yeah, yes, thank you. I can't, that word is really tough for me to say. You
Yeah.
know, that's it's not this usual network like Tales of the Crypt. That was the one I was thinking about,
Mm-hmm.
like those type of shows. Not if you're Loki or WandaVision. Like more like Twilight Zone and Tales of the Crypt. I feel like, and I feel like that's maybe my complaint is that they're not doing that format at all. They're just trying to make this network, like this familiar network format that they have so far with these other Disney Plus shows, but in reality, it doesn't make sense for what if.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, anything else we had to mention before Will? I think we covered everything, right?
Yeah, I
This
think so.
episode. All right. So, overall, it was better than last episode. Still major problems, but not as well. I mean, there's still major problems, but I think the good outweighs the bad. So I think this was overall better presentation kind of episode and had more visions than the last two episodes for me. But yeah, and man, next week's the last episode.
Yeah.
Time flies, I will say.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's been 8 weeks. It's crazy.
I know. And I guess I'll probably bring this up in the next episode, but I think the night episode thing doesn't work. I think they should have done 6 episodes. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just feel like it was too long because we had like a rough start, and then I think episode 2 to 4 were good, but I think episode 2 and 4 were getting better. Like 2 was getting good, 3 was like okay, fine, but really good, and then 4 was amazing, and then from episode 5 it went downhill, and then we got this episode that was good, but it never got me back to the show that I like.
Yeah.
So I feel like the 9 episode thing was maybe a wrong decision to go, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and yeah, I think that's it. Well, I'll do next week when we do the next Sunday when we do the podcast for What If. I will do like a short review on Venom 2 to let you know how it was.
Okay.
Right now the reviews have been somewhat better from the first film. I will give you that. Better rating from Rotten Tomatoes. Like right now it's sitting around like a 62 or 60. So that's good. Fresh, like at least it's a fresh tomato, not a rotten one. So it shows you it's better than the last movie, which that's not saying much. So I will give you like a short review, and I will spoil things because I don't want you to see just torture yourself with the weird and bizarre creative decisions that movie should do. So but yeah, we'll give you a feedback on how it was and how I felt. So, and you say you haven't seen the first film,
Right, I haven't.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
it didn't look good.
Yeah, you're lucky. you're very lucky. I'll give you 2 words. It was multiple words. It was a 90s movie, definitely.
Okay.
So yeah, just think about it, a 90s movie.
Yeah.
So yes. So yeah, that's all, folks. Me and will be back for next Sunday for another podcast of What If, the series finale. Of course, don't worry, folks. That's not going to be the last thing me and will do. We're going to do all other podcast things like movies and of course TV shows, which I'm excited to talk more about Agents of Shield, if you will, for season 1. And so very excited for that one. And of course, next podcast I will discuss Venom 2 and what was like and how is it better than the first film, which I don't know how they can be better than the first film. But anyway, enjoy you guys' weekends and hit that subscribe button.